a lot of young adult books, we sometimes get the main character's love interest telling her, "Oh, you're so different from other girls," even when we don't get any sort of inkling about why he thinks that, what makes her different from other girls. But a guy in this book says that about one of these two chicks on the cover, and he's absolutely right. And we actually see why he finds her different from other girls completely. This is The Mist-Torn Witches by Barb Hendee, one of the authors of the Noble Dead saga, one of my favorites. This follows the story of these two girls. Their mother was a seer and she dies, and when that happens, the older girl just starts posing as a seer, just kind of on a whim, because someone comes in and says, "Oh, where's blah blah? I need my fortune told," and she says, "Oh, she died, but I'm her daughter. I can do it." And then she starts like basically winging it because she's totally not really a seer like her mother. But then one day, about 5 years later, after their mother dies, a noble woman comes in and bribes the seer girl, Celine, that is her right there. She bribes her and says a young woman is coming in just a few moments, and she's going to say, she's going to ask you to tell her fortune about whether or not she should say yes to this marriage, and you need to tell her, convince her to say yes. So, Celine just takes the money and she goes, okay, because she thinks nothing of that, it's no big deal. Then, when the girl comes in asking to have her fortune told, and Celine finds out that it's the prince of their nation, of their that rules their town. She thinks, okay, that's a terrible, I don't want her to. That's probably terrible that she's marrying him, but still, I was bribed to say yes. No big deal. But she actually, when she sits down with the girl, she has a real vision, that shows the girl she's talking to getting strangled by her husband to be, and she can't help but tell the girl, don't marry him, he's going to kill you. So naturally, the girl says no to the marriage, and of course, Celine doesn't tell her sister Amelie that she really did have a real vision. So Amelie fails to understand, of course, why Celine didn't just tell the girl, to marry the guy, since they were already paid for that, and they were already like paid to tell her that. Um, but then, so then their house gets burned down, presumably by the prince's lackeys. They get rescued by the prince's younger brother, Prince Anton, and his lackeys. And so they end up being whisked off to the castle, and then they employ Celine as a seer in order to solve a very strange series of murders that have been going on, murders of young girls. And so they just start having her tell young girls' fortunes so that they can tell which girl is the next to die. Celine isn't sure if she can do it because she's only had the one real vision. She's actually been faking it until then. And then, of course, Amelie doesn't even know that Celine's last vision was real. So she sort of questions it too. But they do it anyway because they have nothing left. Their house was burned down and they can't go back to that town anyway. Celine has more real visions showing her girls' deaths before they happen, and they're unable to stop them at first. And then, well, it's pretty awesome. So it's a really great story. And also these two chicks, they kick butt, like seriously, and they're such good characters. I mean, we have Celine, the older sister, who's really clever and a really good liar and all kinds of stuff, and she's been posing as a seer for like 5 or 6 years. Amelie is a tomboy, and she's good at cards and sword fighting and all kinds of cool stuff, and she always wears men's clothes no matter what. They go to a banquet at one point, and she stays in her like clothes that she just was traveling in and everything, because it's either that or a dress, and she won't wear a dress. So yeah, they're pretty awesome. Um, very, very not your typical like female young adult protagonists that are not like other girls. Fortunately, I did find the murder plot to be a little bit predictable. I spotted the villain from a mile away. I knew who it was, like practically when we first meet the person. And I guess it wasn't intended to be that obvious. Like it wasn't like spelled out for the reader or anything like that. But I kind of wish I had been more surprised. But then the villain's reason for doing what they did and everything is actually like pretty well done as well. Um, so we can really see why they did it. This is a new series. It's got 2 books out so far. The third one should be coming out this year. I haven't read the second one yet, but I will, and we'll see what happens. If you've read it, tell me what you thought in the comments, and see you next time.